Roger Stone is on the phone. Roger, how are we doing?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Roger. How are you?
I'm about to go from being one of the greatest interviews of all time to being one of the most boring.
Well, we understand. That's okay. We understand what you can say and can't, and we don't want you to get in trouble.
Quite a bit you can't talk about, huh, Roger?
Well, there's a lot of good stuff we can talk about.
How about this? Can we talk about?
I was only joking around.
Can we talk about Rich Voss and how we all agreed that he was an ass? Can we discuss that from the last time he was on?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Now, here's what I can't believe about Roger Stone. You know, I kind of expected to pick up the phone just now and hear like, hey, guys, yeah, it's been tough. But Roger Stone, you sound as much like Roger Stone as you have ever sounded when we talk. You don't sound broken. You don't sound beaten. You sound downright peppy. It's almost inspiring.
Well, look, I have pled not guilty. I refuse to change my plea. I'm anxious to get to trial. Trial won't be till November because it's a very complicated case. I'm highly confident that I can win at trial and be vindicated because I know the truth of what I did and did not do. And beyond that, you know, other than asking people to go to stonedefensefund.com to help me raise the 2 million smackers I need for lawyers. God, these lawyers are expensive.
They really are.
They
if you
are.
want a good one, yeah.
I can't discuss it, but I'm pretty resilient. I'm pretty determined to clear my name.
And let me ask you too. Obviously, overnight, your lunch partner was arrested. So, were you shocked that Assange?
You talking about young Julian Assange?
Yeah,
I see.
Were you shocked? I mean, obviously, you didn't know it was coming, or did you think they were going to do that soon anyway?
Well, there was a lot of speculation over the last 72 hours that this was about to happen. And in a strange way, he was in jail anyway because the Ecuadorian embassy, I was only outside of it, but it's tiny, it's dank, no phone, no internet. He did have Pamela Anderson coming in to see him once a week. That's not too shabby.
No.
But you know, he's going to be here, and of course that means that he'll be available to the government for testimony. Beyond that, I can't speculate about the implications.
How did he get 3 rooms in that embassy? They said he got
a WikiLeaks office.
He got 2 offices, a bedroom, and half the kitchen. How did he get all that space in that embassy?
Well, I think, and by the way, I think the embassy shares space with several other countries. It's that small.
Wow.
It's that small. So, but that's who would give him asylum. And there you have it.
Man.
And there was nothing they could. There was nothing they can do. So, have you talked to the president?
I have not. I have not talked to him now in almost 2 years. I think largely because his lawyers have suggested that we not speak, and my lawyers agree. So we are not in touch.
Do you miss talking to him?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I've known him for 40 years. We're very good friends. I don't agree with everything he does. I agree with a lot of what he does. Sometimes I would do things differently, but he was at my wedding when I got married. I was at the wedding for he and Melania, and he and Marla, pardon me. And I was at the wake and funeral for both of his parents. I'm very friendly with his sister, who's a federal judge, who I hope to get on the bench. So, yeah, I do. I do miss him.
What do you think it would take for him? Because the press really, they do just kill him for every single thing he does. What do you think it would take for him to get a friendly story in the New York Times or the Washington Post?
That is, when it's hell freezing over again?
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. The New York Times is off the rails. I mean, I've read the New York Times for 30 years, and it's my favorite newspaper. But on the morning of my arrest, I read a front page profile. Never mentioned that I worked for Ronald Reagan. Never mentioned that I worked for 3 American presidents. Never mentioned that I elected Tom Kean governor of New Jersey, or that I'm a New York Times best-selling author. Never mentions any of these things. I'm a self-admitted dirty trickster. Well, I did some research. I have never described myself that way.
Oh, boy.
Pardon me, self-described dirty trickster. No place have I ever said that that's what I am. What I've said is other people have called me that, and I guess I'm stuck with it. to their credit, the LA Times printed a correction last week when I complained. But in every story you see, you will see that I am Roger Stone, self-described dirty trickster, even though I never said that.
But I don't even know if that hurts you, Roger, because like everyone knows you're in politics, so everybody looks at politics like this is kind of what they do. So you're almost a self-described dirty trickster. Almost seems like he's admitting what all of them do.
It doesn't hurt Roger,
right?
But it does hurt the credibility of the newspapers that are sitting there saying this is self-admitted.
Oh,
it's not self-admitted.
Of course. I'm saying for him though, it's not a bad thing.
I think Roger's just trying to make the papers look foolish.
Yeah.
I think he likes that.
I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah.
But the New York Times is delusional. I mean, they're completely delusional. They had this whole section on the Russian collusion, a whole section of the newspaper. I had my research guys go through it. We found 137 straight factual errors. It was written by a guy named Mike Schmidt. Just total BS. And even their editorial page now won't come off it, despite the fact that the special counsel has issued his report.
Roger, are you nervous about everything that's going on right now that we won't talk about?
The worst part of this is being broke. I mean, you understand, since the last time I have been on your show, I've lost my home, my insurance, what little savings I had, my ability to make a living, because people pay me to write and talk, and of course, the things they want me to write and talk about are the very things I'm not allowed to talk and write about. It's in the blink of an eye, you can lose everything.
How did you lose your home?
Why your home?
Well, because I have to pay everything I have to lawyers, and I could no longer pay the rent in the property that I was in. I moved from a 9-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. Had to do the move myself with my wife, renting a truck. On the last day of the move, in a kind of a freak accident, the truck slips out of gear and rolls over my wife's ankle, breaking it. As I speak to you now, I'm headed down to the car pound in Fort Lauderdale because I just got my car impounded for parking tickets I didn't even know I had. Just one of those days.
So we're not winning right now.
Say again. I'm sorry.
We're not exactly winning right now. Well,
look, I'm back in the gym. I've been running 5 miles every day. I go to the gym every day. I'm eating clean. I'm in training. So, and of course, I spend most of my time reviewing documents, preparing for trial.
Now you have this impending thing, which I guess is going to be in November. Don't you want to just kind of get it over with, or are you happy to have November to wait until?
Well, part of me says I'd like it to be tomorrow, of course, but the preparation is enormous. This is not a secret. The government announced that they dumped 4 terabytes of evidence on us, discovery. Let me put that in some perspective. If it was paper, it'd be 750 million pages. If you stacked it up, would be the Washington Monument times 2.
Oh, my God.
So that's an enormous amount of stuff to go through to prepare for trial. I have 4 lawyers. If each lawyer read 150 pages a day, we still wouldn't be ready, theoretically, by January 1st.
So wait a minute. Now, do they do this? Do they bury you in paperwork because they're hiding the little few things they might think they have? Like, they might not have much, so what they do is they'll give you 10,000 pages to go through because there's 3 pages that they actually hinge their case on.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You did.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But that's what I'm wondering if they do. I heard
first thing that occurred to me that's probably what's going down.
They bury you in paperwork.
Yeah, there's 5 sheets of paper in that 4 terabytes that are really, really, really important. Find the 5 sheets.
And they know that you have to pay your lawyers.
4 terabytes is roughly twice as much information as there is currently in the Library of Congress.
Probably not going to use all of it in the case.
So they're putting full reports in there where there might be one line referencing you. Maybe there's a report that was 600 pages. One line references you. They put the whole fucking report in there.
Well, I couldn't speculate.
Is Alex Jones helping you out?
Actually, I'm kind of disappointed in Alex. He is not selling the iconic Roger Stone Did Nothing Wrong T-shirts, which has, been a mainstay of my fundraising. By the way, you can get them at 1776.shop.
Why isn't he selling them?
T-shirt I was arrested in, and he's not selling them. I've expected a nice contribution to my legal defense fund. I have not received one. I'm a little disappointed.
What would you consider a nice contribution?
I saw about a week ago he said that his testimony or his comments on Sandy Hook, something, by the way, I've never spoken about at all or written about, was caused by psychosis.
He did say that.
Yep.
And then Saturday I saw a video in which he said posses of men dressed as clowns are going around abducting children for sexual abuse. I hope he's all right. I don't know.
So you're a little upset that that Alex Jones is not helping you out. I mean, you did Alex Jones' show for a long time, pretty loyally. He
has his own legal stuff going on too, though.
He does. Have you?
I am grateful for Alex Jones for giving me a platform. He is a friend of mine. I like the guy. I like hanging out with him. I do not agree with everything he says. I agree with some of the things he says. He probably doesn't agree with everything I say. But, a check would be nice.
Have you reached out to him and said, hey?
He's very, very successful and very, very profitable. And hopefully he'll throw a few simoleons my way.
Now, what would you consider a nice donation of simoleons?
25 large would make me happy.
It would be good. Have you told him, hey, Roger?
It'd be chump change for him. He has a very, very successful operation.
Have you told him, hey, Alex?
It's a brilliant, brilliant model. I mean, he is simulcast on 200-plus radio stations. At the same time, he's got a high-quality video presentation that's simulcast. And he's, and he has no sponsors because he's his own sponsor. He sells his own products, and they sell briskly. By the way, I've used a lot of them, and a lot of them are very good.
Have you told him, hey, Alex, I'd really like about $25,000, please?
Well, I'm not going to get into our personal conversations back and forth.
Have you gone on Joe Rogan's show?
I thought he was entertaining. I mean, he's always entertaining.
No, have you gone on Joe's show?
I have not, although I would like to.
But there's not that much you could talk about at this point, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you one big thing we could talk about, and that's the fact that I'm a strong supporter of the legalization of marijuana. And here in Florida, the new Republican governor has legalized medicinal marijuana and finally fixed a flaw in the state law which said that you couldn't smoke it. And his popularity has really taken off. Is there a lesson in here for Donald Trump? I would say so.
Who are the friends that have stuck by you, Roger?
I'm sorry, a truck was driving by. I'll have to say that again.
Who are the friends? Sam wants to know who the friends are that stuck by you.
Well, of course, Kristen Davis,
Yeah.
the Manhattan Madam, a great pal of mine. This is the thing about adversity. You find out who your real friends are. And at this point, 38,000 people have given to StoneDefenseFund.com, for which I'm exceedingly grateful.
You forget us. We're good friends.
Well, I'm looking for your checks, too, but we won't get into that.
We don't make as much money as you think we do, Roger.
We don't make Alex Jones money.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not selling our own products.
I can tell that by the way you dress.
That's right. I mean, Roger, I have to confess something. We were just in the studio. We were talking to you, and we feel sympathy for you and everything, but
Yes.
I don't know if you just heard the noise on the other end of the phone, just in case you did and thought it was interference. Jim,
well, then they know that I am not violating the judge's orders and not discussing anything we're not allowed to talk about.
Jim flatulated a moment ago.
I couldn't help it. I ate eggs.
He flatulated, and he's been very flatulent this morning, and I'd like to apologize to you just in case you heard flatulence while you were trying to talk about all kind of the hard time
Important
that you've been
stuff.
having. Yeah.
So now, wait a minute.
Well, in a moment, I'll be out of this area and able to hear you a little better, but so far I haven't heard anything inappropriate.
Okay.
He did. I heard it. He did flatulate.
Yes, I did. How hard is it for you not to talk about anything you're not allowed to talk about?
Well, there's plenty to talk about, like the 2020 race and the
Who you voting for, Biden?
Of Joe Biden, for example.
You like Joe Biden?
Well, I think Trump would beat him like a drum. I mean,
Oh.
the guy's a lightweight. He's a physical and intellectual lightweight who can't see himself. He actually thinks he's important. He's a pompous blowhard. He's
Who, Trump or Biden?
Biden.
Oh.
And he can't seem to keep his hands off of other people's children. No. No, that's not a right-wing conspiracy theory. There are hundreds of pictures and thousands of feet of video footage of him inappropriately touching children. You can see they're uncomfortable. You can see their parents are uncomfortable. That's just weird.
But do you think he's touching kids inappropriately? Is he just being too affectionate? Like, is that?
Is it sexual?
Yeah, I don't know if it's sexual.
I don't think so.
It's just, look, either way you look at it, whether it's women or children, because he's got the same propensity, it's creepy.
It is creepy. I don't think it's sexual, but I do think it's creepy.
Actually, there's footage where one U.S. senator slaps his hand away from his granddaughter because Joe's getting a little too handsy.
So you think that a real hiccup in Joe Biden's potential run for presidency could be that his opponents, President Trump, for example, may bring up the fact that there's lots and lots of video of him uncomfortably touching children and women.
Well, it's already being brought up,
yes,
although I have a more serious problem. Nobody's been a more zealous drug warrior than he has.
Oh, really?
Nobody is more responsible for locking up poor people and black people for the first-time nonviolent offense of possession of small amounts of marijuana than Joe Biden. Our prisons are clogged with poor people and black people who are subject to far harsher sentences than rich white guys who get caught with cocaine.
Now, did you ever see the photo of Biden with the 2 ice cream cones and the sunglasses? He just looks cool.
I did not.
Oh, okay. He does look cool in that photo.
Hey, let me ask you, Roger. You're friends with the president. What do you think if he could have the press give him credit for one thing, knowing that they're never going to be all on board? If there's one thing he could get credit for, what do you think he would want them to credit him for?
The economy. I mean, we have 4.9 million new jobs. We have 650,000 new manufacturing jobs. Unemployment is at the lowest point in American history. African American and Hispanic unemployment at the lowest point since they began keeping those statistics. It's impressive.
Man, I was at the airport yesterday. It took 35 minutes to get through a TSA pre-check line. You know what that tells me? A lot of people buying airline tickets. The economy is good.
That's right.
And I think that's what he deserves the most credit for.
35 minutes to get through a pre-check?
I was in a fury.
If it's any, I'm also outraged. Well, Roger, let's promote this properly. It's called Stone Defense Fund. Is that it?
StoneDefenseFund.com.
StoneDefenseFund.com. Roger has an upcoming trial. And the Stone Cold Defense...
I hadn't heard about that.
What's that?
The trial, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, it is happening.
Oh, okay.
The Stone Cold Defense Fund fundraiser. It's at the Paper Moon Gentlemen's Club.
Hell yeah.
In Richmond, Virginia. And this is Saturday, May the 4th at 8 o'clock. I'm guessing Kristen Davis will be with you.
Roger, have you thought, since the big event, it's happening May 4th at 8 p.m., it's in Richmond, Virginia, as Jim just said, have you thought about maybe some sort of a Star Wars theme to play on May the 4th be with you?
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
In all honesty, probably more people coming to see Kristen Davis than see me.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be a great event, and we hope to raise some money. I mean, I'm doing a lot of small and medium-sized events. I did an event in the Villages, which is a community outside of Orlando last week. The average age was deceased, but it was a huge crowd, and we raised a lot of money.
That's fantastic, Roger.
Did you ever think, though, isn't it hard to be in a place where, I mean, like, obviously you've had money, where now you have to do benefits to raise money for lawyers. I mean, you never saw this coming, right?
Well, but I'll get it all back once I'm vindicated. Now I'm the best-known political operative on the face of the planet, and I can get on important shows like, Jim and Sam.
That's
true. And I would like to also state for the record, just because I think it's important that it stay on the record, that you did at one point on this very show tell me that in a very hypothetical way, if for whatever reason, related to what we're talking about or not, you were to at any point in your life end up in jail, you would still call the show. So that is out there, just so we keep that in mind as we move forward.
That I'll keep that commitment.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Roger.
Want more Jim and Sam? Catch up with full episodes and interviews from celebrity guests anytime on demand using the SiriusXM app.